So I got a question about the difference between Kabbalah and witchcraft, black magic. Yeah, many people that they don't know the difference. You know, sometimes it looks the same. There's some books that you read that it's supposed to be like Kabbalah books, and then it says like you do this, you do that, you do this, you do that, and you get this result. Looks like magic, right? You do all kinds of things that it's like seem like witchcraft, and so so what's the difference? What's the difference? So we have to, first of all, before we getting into the understanding of the differences, we have to see what is the structure of our existence. Okay? When we look on the physical existence per se, without being aware of the higher dimensions of our existence, so for example, you look on fruits that were taking maser or not, you don't see the difference. You look on something that is pure or impure, you don't see the difference. Physically, it's the same. You look on a body scan of a righteous person, wicked person, physically, it might look the same. Okay? So as long as we're looking on the external physical appearance of things, we won't find so many differences. Okay? When we want to be able to define the difference, we have to combine within our understanding the higher dimensions of the spiritual realms that are affecting this physical dimension. So, in other words, today we have a very easy parable that everybody are aware of, which is the internet. Okay? So, let's say that the end device that you have, if it's computer or phone, whatever it is the parable for the physical world. Okay? And the different servers that are storing the information is comparable in our parable to the spiritual dimensions. So we are here in this physical world. So it's like I'm holding a phone, tablet, whatever, computer, and if you don't see what's on my screen, you don't know where I'm drawing the information from, right? It can be anywhere. And even if you look on my screen, probably you won't know where I got this information on my screen from. It can be the servant can sit in different locations all around the world, can be next door, can be on the other side of the world. You won't see the difference on what's on the screen of the phone, right? So the only way to really say where that's coming from, where does it belong to, is to track back the channel that it came to this world from. Okay? So as much as it is hard to do within the parable of the internet, right? You have to be like a real hacker, like IT guy that knows how to track information to its source. It's not so simple. Most of the people, they don't know how to do that, right? How much more, so many times more in the spiritual realm. It's very hard to know where things are connected to. So when you see someone that is doing something that it looks supernatural, whatever it is, he have a power of healing. Let's say something positive. He have a power of healing in his hands, and you want to know, is this guy witchcraft Is this guy is a sorcerer? Is this guy is a Mekubal? Is this guy is a... What is it? Where it's coming from? It's very hard to know. To track back where this power is coming from is very, very hard task. Okay? So the Torah, the Halacha, is giving us halachot that is not so much dealing with what is the source of the different things, is more about what is the result. Okay? So you see different things. If you look, there is like set of halachot of like what is the definition of witchcraft, and you see there are all kinds of things that, again, it looks very, very similar, almost identical to what you will find in books of practical Kabbalah. Okay? It seems very, very similar. I'm not saying the same things, but it's very similar. So, the appearance of things, even in the Torah, even in the Halacha, doesn't really give the definition. So, for us to say what will be the way for us to define, it will be according to the source of where it's coming from. So something that is handed down in a tradition of people that are dealing with witchcraft, we will define it as witchcraft.
Even if you had the Kavanah.
Something that is handed down in a tradition of people that are dealing with Kabbalah, so we will define it as Kabbalah. It looks the same. It might look the same. Again, the text on your phone can seem the same if you're drawing the information from, let's say, even though it's very, very far from it, but let's say the news, like something that is very accepted as a like source of news, whatever, like BBC, something like that, is like, it is something that some people will consider to be pure, okay? And if it is some kind of a phony baloney fake news site, everybody will, not take it seriously. So it could be that you'll get the same text on your device from the two different sources. So one time you'll read the same text, and the guy next to you will tell you, you're looking in this site? This site is phony baloney. You can't trust them. They're just faking, right? And the same text, you take the same text from like, for whatever, CNN. CNN, for sure. They are liable. We can trust them, yeah, for sure, right? So it's not about the appearance of things, it's about the source of things, okay? And to track the source is very hard, okay? There is traditions, and you can, if somebody have a tradition, so fine, you have a tradition. But for someone that doesn't have a tradition and is trying to judge according to the end result of things, so it will be almost impossible to define. Okay? So that was one sin with this explanation. Now I want to move to sin 2. Okay, the next subject. And this is a little bit more complex. Again, the structure of our existence. So within the structure of our existence, we have the source of everything, which is the light of Hashem. Pure light of Hashem is something that is within everything, without any exceptions. Okay? In the physical world, we can compare it to, let's say, oxygen. Yeah, oxygen is one thing that almost all the life forms in this planet have some degree of oxygen. Okay? In the science, they claim that maybe there is some, they don't, but they didn't really get to a fun conclusion with it. But definitely, vast majority of all life forms that we know of have oxygen within them. So if we compare oxygen to the light of Hashem, so we can say that all existence have some light of Hashem within it. Otherwise it could not exist. So even things that are very far out, the most wicked, the most black, dark, whatever it is, far away, distant beings that there are, the only way that they can exist is if they have some form, a little bit of light of Hashem. Otherwise, they could not exist. There's no existence without the light of Hashem. That's a basic premise. Now, obviously, there's big difference in the different amounts of how much. And there is differences of what's the quality. Okay? In other words, someone that is very close to the center of the creation, meaning is connected to the Torah, so then is receiving the light of Hashem more directly, more pure, and then the result is that there's also more quality and more quantity. Okay? And once again, you won't see it in the physical appearance of that. Yeah? Righteous person will have the same physical body like a wicked person. Maybe even he will be weaker. Because he's not investing in like his physical body so much. So it's not about the manifestation of that light. I'm not speaking about the manifestation of that. Just in the spiritual realm of our existence. So the same thing, not the same thing, but then from that certain center point, when we extending our spectrum and looking outside, so there is layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of existence, that which is getting further and further and further from the center core of the light of Hashem. So as much as you're going further away, not you, but whenever something is further away, so is getting the light of Hashem through much more screens and barriers and so on and so forth. Yeah? And that will be result that being will have less quality, less quantity of light of Hashem. So this is basically what we need to understand, and it will be according to that we can understand the difference between the Kabbalah and WitchCraft. That Kabbalah is part of the Torah, so it is very close to the center point of the creation, and there's the light of Hashem and so on, like we said. And witchcraft and black magic and all of those evil things, even though physically it might look the same, but in the essence of things, the way that it is connected within the spiritual realms, it is very, very far from it. It is very, very different. And then it will give it a whole different meaning. If somebody is using it, what he's connecting himself to. Okay? So it's a big subject matter. I actually started to write a book about it because I see that there's a lot of confusion about it. So Bezrat Hashem will be continued. For now, we'll hold it here. Baruch Adonai L'olam. Amen v'amen.